Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Daytona International Speedway at night for the NearStar Print Solutions 187. And it's looking to be a fantastic night of racing. Let's just quickly go through what we got on the track so far. 18 people set times. We've got Thomas Harmon currently with the top time. He's only just set the top time, absolutely dead even with Brian Pizzakemi at a 46.261. Literally nothing in it. Jonas Marquez second, Frank Isaacson up there in P3, Matt Horton in fourth. We've got Mitch Pape in fifth, and sixth. Scott Rickard in seventh. We've got Logan McCannley eighth, Travis Mercier ninth, and James Watson in 10th. As you can see, Matt Horton there with a brand new number. He's now going to be the number 8 instead of the 89, just to make something a little bit different. And we did have a new car sign up. Does not look like they're going to be participating in a racing action here tonight. Cars are on track, doing a little bit of a pit party. But we'd like to, again, thank NearStar Print Solutions for coming on board for tonight's races. Pit entry getting a little bit wild there between Frank Isaacson and Thomas Harmon. It's like everyone bailing into the pits as they're about to set off for another pit party. And this is a terrible camera angle. Wow, there's no good camera angles of the pits apparently. Oh, there we go. Still currently aimed on Frank Isaacson. As you can see, 18 cars have currently set times. We've got Harmon, Pizzakemi, Marquez, Isaacson, Horton, Pape, Rickard, McCannley, Massier, Watson, McDonald, Campbell, Sanchez, Baylor, McCoy, Ward, Sanders, and Corey Cook as the 18 who have set times. We do have a triple number there, and that is Nate Amoy. I think it's Amoy. I'll have to ask him. We'll just refer to the 103 car as Nate. Got Joe Slimer in the 9, Chris Champo in the 12, Austin Collins in the 74, and Andrew Griesbaum in the 68 car. That brings us to 23 cars to take on the racing action, a 32.83 strength of field. I remember back in the days where we used to sit in the mid 2500s. As everyone's just trying to get themselves sorted out here and into some kind of a position for a pit party. Still looking at Frank in his awesome chromed out autism awareness number 24 car. And the jigsaw pieces there really they shine like duck's nuts under the lights here at Daytona. And it looks like quite a bit of damage there already for the 61 machine. Not sure what happened to him. Well, it seems to have fixed itself, maybe. I don't know. His left rear did not look healthy. It looks like they're going to go single file. No. Frank jumps down. He's going to start the second line. No one wanting to start on the inside here for the pit party, which is a bit surprising. As a couple of the stragglers make it into the back of the pack for the pit party here. There they go, they're off. There's a lot more pushability with these cars than what we've seen previously in the previous Gen 4 cars. Travis Masia trying to push the 24 of Isaacson. They've got a little bit of a gap going. It was allowed Watson and Campbell on the outside line there start streaking ahead, and I think it was just a trick with the paint there. The 61 on Corey Cook that made me think he's got massive left rear damage. Both lines kind of even here. It doesn't look like we're really going to have an advantage of one over the other. Inside line is definitely back into this. Oh, and around goes Frank. There goes Thad. And it's absolute chaos as they come out of turn 4. There's a 77 of Avery McDonald. 21, Thad Baylor, we saw him go around. At 61, Corey Cook, he's in it. Cookie Monster himself. And let's see if we get a pit entry. Oh yeah, we're going to get another pit entry. Look at them flying in. Doesn't matter how many laps you got on your tyres, you always want to practice a pit entry when the opportunity arises. And look at the brake discs, absolutely glowing on these cars. That's how hard they got to brake to get into the pit lane. And there is Nate. He's running the Dale Jr. number 8 car. But obviously, he'll need to fix that up for next week. Can't have him running a number that's already taken. It's just freshly taken today. Or actually, no, I think it was just yesterday that Horton requested to change the number. See if it brings him a little bit of luck here tonight. He's normally one of the more unlucky drivers. Gets caught up in other people's stuff a little bit. He tends to overdrive it slightly and gets caught up in his own stuff. As once more the field trundles out of pit lane, so we're going to get another pit party by the looks of things. There's not much time left here in practice. These guys will probably have to start getting motivated very quickly to get this one underway. Thomas Harmon, he wants that outside lane. So I'm going next to the wall and no one is going to my outside. I see everyone's shuffling to get into the outside lane. They're going single file again. See how long it takes them to get into double file. Ken Campbell taking the bus stop there. A little bit of road course racing. Oh, it looks like Frank going to jump into the bottom lane once more. He's going to be behind Jack Sanders. It's on the front row with the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Corey Cook just jumping onto the back there. There's another car way off the field. I can't tell who it is. It is a single digit number. That's all I know for sure. And we are racing. There they are. It was the 8 of Matt Horton that was joining the field late. This is going to be very telling for how the race is going to be. Looks like you can give bumps, but you got to watch that you don't give too big of a bump. Do that, and you're going to end the race with a disaster. As Matt Horton's coming into practice at pit entry already. The rest of the field keeps on trundling along. Again, both lanes very even. There's not really one that's got the advantage over the other. So the outside lane on entry to 3 definitely pace there. The inside line claws it back through the corner. Oh, and a little bit unsettled was the 39 car then from the bump from Jack Sanders. Thomas Harmon now jumping into that bottom lane. They got 75 laps ahead of them of this man-made hell at Daytona Beach. As Thomas is going to jump down onto the apron, he's going to fall to the back. And they're 3 wide in the back of the pack there. Thomas on the apron, that made it 4. There's league founder Jaron Sanchez. He's retaken up owner and operator roles. Got about 3, maybe 4 months of practice. I'd say strongly 3. As time just keeps on ticking into the future. Oh, Sanchez with a big bump on the 24 of Isaacson. As ended with Sanchez on his side. And Isaacson going for a spin. I think Sanders also having an issue. In fact, I think that was Massia that was having the issue. Frank getting Jaron flipped back over. Leading the drive will be very important around here, especially if we get a couple of cautions throughout the race. Got to know how to work it to your advantage. With that 2-car tandem at the front of the pack. There's a 15 of Ken Campbell and a 21 of Thad Baylor. They put one toe out and it's going to get broken. That's how knife edge these cars are in the draft. It's very easy to lose the draft if you have to check up. It's also very easy to just bump that little bit too hard. As it looks like Matt Horton has done a bit of hard bumping. He's lost his front bumper. But with that, we are going to go to a commercial break. And very shortly, these guys are going to go into qualifying. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action from the NearStar Print Solutions 187 will be coming up very shortly. Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway under lights, and qualifying has just been completed. Only 9 cars out of the 23 setting lap times here tonight. We're going to get ready to go through our grid. And starting on the pole, going to be the 15 of Ken Campbell. On his outside will be the 13 of Travis Massia. Don't mind the paint schemes. Obviously, those are not the paint schemes of the cars. There's Thomas Harmon out of P3 with Corey Cook in the 61. He's going to be out of P4. P5 will be the 74 of Austin Collins. We've got James Watson in the 39 out of P6. P7 we will see the 25 of Jack Sanders, and then P8 the 24 of Frank Isaacson. P9 is the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum with P10 the 103 of Nate. P11 will be the 1 of Logan McCannley with the 9 of Joe Slammer out of P12. 13th position, we see the 05 of Scott Rickard with Kyle McCoy in 14th in the 16 car. Got the 15th place is the 12 of Chris Champeau with Matt Horton in the 8 out of P16. P17, league founder Sharon Sanchez, Thad Faylor in the 21 out of P18. P19 is going to be the 44 of Clayton Ward with P20 the 77 of Avery McDonald. P21 is the 6 of Mitch Pape, P22 the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi, and last but not least in P23 is a 00 of Jonas Marquez. So we're just waiting for everyone to get on the grid here. Not sure who we're waiting on. See if we can get a better angle. That's a little bit of a better angle. So we're waiting on our P2 car. Travis Massia. So see, Chris Champeau hasn't made the grid, and Massia not making the grid. Looks like Massia has elected to start from pit road. Chris Champeau in the 12 is a non-starter in this race. We'll have to keep an eye on that, see if he does make an appearance. I heard he was having troubles with technical inspection going through practice and qualifying. So we'll have to wait and see whether he's backed up shop or whether he will be able to make the effort to get on track. One of Corey Cook, who streamed in front of the field. Gonna drop back to his spot. Actually, he was slated to start out of P4. Looks like he's dropping to the back. Not sure what's going on there. The 61 machine. But yeah, he's dropped to the back of the pack. But here we go, 75 laps, 187.5 miles ahead of us here at the Daytona International Speedway. And it is going to be a wild thrill show, especially if someone pushes someone just that little bit too hard. Pace car is going to make that hard left turn into pit lane. 21 cars in the pack, 1 in the pits, 1 in the tech shed as we are off and racing for the NearStar Print Solutions 187 here on the Aussies Commentator Channel for the Output Racing League. And what a start by the inside line. All 3 of them lined up there, 15 to 38 and the 74. Now, I'm not sure how our 3-car tandem would go. We know a 2-car tandem works pretty well. And in fact, it's working really well right now as The top 3 are all on the inside line. In fact, the top 4 are all on the inside line of this race. In fact, James Watson's going to lose another spot. But the 38 of Thomas Harmon is going to try and lead the first lap. And I think he just had it. He did. Thomas Harmon led the first lap of the race. Corey Cook has gone into the pit lane for some reason. Not sure what's going on for the Cookie Monster. Travis Massio, by virtue of starting in the pits, he's a little bit off the pack as well. A couple seconds off the pack. And actually, if I cast my mind's eye back, I think Corey Cook has a penalty from last race. Let me just go and have a look at the penalties section in the Discord. Yes, Corey Cook. EOL next race and a drive-through. .44 of Clayton Ward also had an EOL start for this race. It's wide of 44. There's all the 15 of Ken Campbell at the front right now. The 74 of Austin Collins. And Thomas Harmon, by virtue of having no help at all, he's drifted all the way back to P5. We'll focus on crashes and see if we can see anything happening throughout the field. 78, Brian Pizzakemi. He's third in line there on the outside. He's actually made up a whole bunch of positions. So second last, he's already in P7. Well, he was supposed to start second to last, and he's up in the P7, I should say. Down across the start-finish line they go once more, clicking off lap number 4 of 75. Both Corey Cook and Travis Massey are hoping for a caution. Another 2 cars hoping for a caution. That's Ward in the 44 and Pate in the 6. Both of them have also fallen off the back of the pack. Corey Cook's actually under threat of going a lap down here very shortly. He's got literally no drafting help whatsoever. Ward and Massio have caught up to each other. There they are. Abe, who's ahead of them, he's got no one with him. As I hit the wrong button, this is the button I wanted. There he is. He's quite a little bit off the back of the pack. I can see the 78, Brian Pizzakemi, has worked his way up to P2, the outside line, starting to get a run. Boy on the inside, Harmon on the outside. Harmon getting the push from Pizzakemi. McCoy on the inside getting the push from Ken Campbell. And in these kinds of races, third in line is just important as who you got pushing. You got someone who's third in line who is right up near the bumper of the second car in line. And that'll help the second car to get to the back bumper of the lead car so much better. Right now, it looks like the inside line with Austin Collins is making sure that inside line keeps all of its momentums. It also looks like the 78 of Pizzakemi was just trying to cool his car down a little bit. A little bit hot under the collar there behind the 38 of Thomas Harmon. The Oreo on the car once more. because he hasn't found an Avril Lavigne scheme. We go back to focusing anywhere and everywhere. We've got Andrew Griesbaum in the 68 car, the Nest Quick car. Now we're looking at James Watson in the 39, the Team Watson Racing Setups 39. The chase for the Cup once more, brought to us by Team Watson Racing Setups. Glad to have them on board once more for this season. And you just heard the engine roaring past the camera. That was Corey Cook in the 61. That's how close he is to going a lap down. It'll just be a few more laps and these guys will be all over him. Seems like everyone's really taking it easy here in these early laps. Pushes aren't massive. No one's trying to stick their nose where it doesn't belong. Shuffled out of line now. So he'll be dropping to the back while he's cooling down his engine. James Watson jumping down to the inside. That's given no help to the 38 of Harmon, who now has Austin Collins ahead of him. We've already seen once the 78 Bass Pro Shops car go from 22nd to P2. See if he can do it again. He's got good company where he's at. There's the 8 of Matt Horton. Got the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. The number, the other number 8, the 8103 of Nate. There's Scott Rickard. See the phone of Mark Pentacuff here tonight. Hoping Mark's alright. It's not like him to not show up to a race, let alone 2 days in a row of racing. Didn't show up last night either for the Echo Series race. Both lines draw even once more. Got McCoy on the inside, Campbell on the outside, and Campbell has just jumped down to the inside lane. So now it's Collins on the outside getting pushed by Thomas Harmon. The all-white car there at a 9 of Joe Slama. See, there might be 1 or 2 cars that are not in their usual paint schemes, like the 9 of Slama. Some people forgot to set their Super Speedway paint for this car, as Austin Collins takes the lead and will shuffle down in front of Ken Campbell. Puts all the air on the nose of the 38 of Thomas Harmon. The top 4 on the inside line there, you got Collins, Campbell, McCoy, and Sanders. The outside lane, you got Harmon, Slama, Isaacson, and Pisakemi. And you know what? Let's ride on board with Pisakemi here real quick just to see how frantic this racing is. Pironi's bumper cam here as he's looking at the tail of Frank Isaacson. See, there's a lot of movement in these cars. Just comparing Frank to Brian here. A lot of movement between the two. As it looks like the outside line has gotten clear of the leader. The Harmon and Slama leading the way. And it looks like they're going to stay high here. They're not going to jump down to the low lane. Here goes Pizzicami right up to the back. Oh, that autism awareness. Number 24 car. Of course, Frank Isaacson has a really awesome autism awareness Chevelle as well, with the jigsaw puzzle pattern on it as well. You check that out on Facebook, the autism awareness Chevelle. And look at how close Pizzicami gets to him without touching him. That's how you do it, right there. Love the sound of these cars as they come past the cameras. Now I have the cameras turned down pretty low in OBS for this track, and even then they still come across so loud. I'm just watching the sound bars, and the cars are just about as loud as what I am half the time. It looks like the outside line's gotten a little bit disjointed now. Joe Slama lost the back. 38 of Thomas Harmon. Harmon's still leading. But the inside line, being much more organised, is right back in it. And somewhere along the line we missed Corey Cook going a lap down. But I do believe he is in this pack. Or Jaron Sanchez trying to catch up to the back of Ryan Pizzicami. We're looking at Scott Rickett there in the 05. It's just behind Andrew Griezmann in the 68. There's James Watson in the 39. Most people looking like they're lining up on the bottom. I just saw Corey Cook there. He's 3 from the back. Yeah, Logan McCannley was another one who had to go looking for a paint scheme tonight. He's currently down in the 15th position. Harmon once more has it at the line. The fast time of that lap was done by Ken Campbell. 46.504. Ken Campbell actually the fastest lap of the race so far of 45.907. But Clayton Ward is going into the pits. So he's dropped off from Massia and Pape. Now let's see if anything happened to the 44 car here. See why he's come into the pits. Oh, he has damage. What occurred to Clayton Ward? Why? Oh. Alright, let's slow this down. He's got Mitch Pape behind him. And at the back of this pack is Travis Massia in the 13. They're bump drafting in the corner. Trying everything they can to try and catch up to the main pack. I get that. And it looks like the bump is just a little bit too big. It's not off center there, it's just a regular bump, but coming out of the corner, doing the bump can be dangerous. And yeah, that's where they got off center. And Mitch just tries to get lined up with him again, but there's too much overlap. And boom, into the outside wall goes Clayton Ward. And he's broken the right front on that thing, so that is 8 minutes of damage right there in just that wheel alone. So that's unfortunate for Clayton Ward. So we go back to the main pack. Now we're back to where we were when we started reversing everything. Austin Collins leading the way. He led at the line. Simon trying to fight back on the outside line. The inside line is so much more organised. Already now 20 laps into this race. There's just 55 laps to go. The fuel's going to start being a question here. When are we going to pit? Who are we going to take into the pits with us? What some of these guys are going to start discussing. This pit strategy is key if we don't get a caution. Because if we do get a caution, it's easy. Take 4 tyres and fill it to the brim. If we don't get a caution, you got to pick your moment right. Will you have enough for the end? Will you have to pit once more? Will you have draft when you come out of the pits? That's what these guys are going to ask. And that's why they got to pit with a group. So it's going to be organisation between everyone trying to pit with the group. If we can undercut, how much of an undercut do we go for? If we can overcut, how much of an overcut do we go for? You'll also notice a lack of the 17. No Christian Budd racing here tonight. He had other obligations. I did no balls him when he said that he wasn't racing tonight. Oh, I thought that would work, but it didn't. As Jaron Sanchez ditches the outside line, he moves into the bottom. Now what I think is a little bit crazy is we still haven't seen a third lane yet. Through practice, there was definitely some people experimenting with third lane or some people getting punted out to the third lane. No third lane in this race yet. Once more, Harmon and Slama surge ahead. But they get clawed back once more by Austin Collins. Clayton Ward still in the pits. Thomas Harmon aggressively led that lap. And Looks like Andrew Griesbaum has moved up into the top lane. 02 has the 05 of Scott Rickard. One came down, two came up, and one more came back down again. With the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. Frank Isaacson looking like he needs some air. He left a big enough gap, and up into the third in position line is that the 16 of Kyle McCoy. McCoy getting aggressive there, saw the opening and went for it. It broke the momentum at the lower line there a little bit. McCoy was third in line. He's third in line once more, but this time he has a chance of going for the lead. Let's have a look from on board the Goodyear blimp. Have a look at how they're going. And you saw the 9 of Joe Slammer jumped out of line from behind Thomas Harmon. He's on the inside line now. That ruined the momentum of the outside line a little bit. Might cause a little bit of stack up on the inside line as well. Looks like for now, all is clear. The outside line with the advantage still, as Kyle McCoy on the back of Thomas Harmon pushing hard. He's all up in Thomas's business abyss as if his back bumper owes him money. We're looking at Griesbaum again in the 68 car to 39. With James Watson jump ship back down to the low lane. In fact, he's running a little bit of both lanes right there. I think we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll see if we get some green flag stops here very shortly. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action will return. Welcome back to the NearStar Print Solutions 187 here from the Daytona International Speedway, and we're riding on the back of race leader Joe Slammer as here comes a big push. That's from the 74 of Austin Collins. If you ever want to see how the modeling is done, that radiator looks really good as it. Oh no, Joe just caught the apron there a little bit and it almost went awry. There was a little bit of instability in that inside line. Here comes the outside line once more. In fact, now we have three lanes as the 16 of McCoy forced it up the inside of the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Now this gives the inside line a huge break, because that just put so much disorganization into the outside lines. McCoy's jumped ship to the inside. So too did Pizzakemi. Thomas Harmon and Frank Isaacson both left in the outside line. Thomas trying to catch up to Frank. Frank trying to squeeze his way in front of James Watson. I didn't think there was much room there at all. Now Thomas has no help whatsoever, and everyone has single filed out. This is not what Massey and Pape wanted to see. They weren't making up too much ground anyway, but saying that, the more single file these guys are, the less chance of them catching up. Another two cars that could possibly lose a draft here soon. Marquez and Nate. They're right at the back of the pack and they're flirting with just being in the draft still. For the moment they are staying with them. We work lap 32 of 75. The halfway for this race is 75 and a half laps. So it'll be when they're on the back straight of lap 38. Clayton Ward is still in the pits, getting that damage seen too. Corey Cook still the first and only car one lap down. Now let's see, do we have some static cameras in this pack? I think we do. So for the next few moments, let's just crank it up. Oh, well, we were in static cameras there. With our first pit stops going underway. Pape and Massey are both already pitted. We've got Campbell, Harmon, Collins, Slama, Sanchez, and Marquez, who have all gone into the pits. I was hoping for a little bit longer under crank it up conditions, but I guess not. So they're pitting a little bit earlier than halfway. So they think they can make it. As now McCoy, Watson, and Nate come in. Whole bunch of cars just in front of this group that have already pitted. And now we're not getting any of the loud camera angles. There's more cars coming to the pits now. Oh, that was very close for Sanders. For Sanders, Rickard, Pizzicami, Baylor, and Isaacson are all in the pits. Griesbaum leading the way. We've got Griezmann, Horton, McAnally, and McDonald still yet to pit. As I said, we do have a group of cars just in front of these guys who have already pitted. I think Slama, Marquez, and Sanchez all received penalties of some description, which is why they're a lap down. I think our leaders just decided to go one more. They did. All four of them decided to go one more. Now it's officially halfway when these guys get halfway down the back straight. These guys were mostly towards the back of the pack, just feeling things out and letting things ride as they reach the halfway point of the race now. So if they pit now, they are good to the end, in theory. Oh, is Horton set right out there? And it looks like all four of them are coming into the pits. Very aggressive pit entry there for the 8 of Horton, who took the lead coming into the pit entry. It looks like his box is going to be in front of the start-finish line. All of them pitted in front of the start-finish line, I think. No, Horton was scored as the leader. I think we can tell Slama, Marquez, Sanchez all caught penalties. So everyone's catching up to the leaders who are just rolling through turns 1 and 2 on the apron right now. As I said, everyone who just pitted is good to the end on fuel, guaranteed. I'm not sure about some of the others though. Scott Rickard has moved his way into the lead of this race. See if we can get a bead on him. There he is. He's got Sanchez and Marquez dead ahead of him. They are the last cars on the lead lap. There is a 9 of Joe Slama. Slama is going to go a lap down. Sanchez, he's going to get out the way of the leaders. Looks like this is going to become a fuel mileage race. It's not something they typically let happen in the Output Racing League. Normally they would have thrown a comp caution, so everyone could have come in earlier, then they could have made it on one more stop. I guess they're just letting it ride out. Go 5 Scott Rickard leading away from Sanders and Faylor. James Watson in 4th. He's leading up the second pack. There he is. Got McCoy on his tail and Pizzacami's there as well. Right on the tail of them, you have got Horton. And Horton's with McAnally there. As long as they are in the draft with this pack in front of them, they are good to the end. Brisbane, he's fallen back away from these guys. There he is. He's with Avery. And they lost a lot of time in pit lane. Behind these guys by himself, we have the 24 of Frank Isaacson. There's Frank And Pape and Massia. The next two cars on the track. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. There's Pape and Massia. So they'll probably catch up to Frank here before too long. And actually, they got a bit to wait before they catch up to him. And they'll probably try and draft with him. And of course, we saw Lama, Sanchez, and Marquez have all gone a lap down. Corey Cook, who was already a lap down right from the get-go. As I just saw the 78 of Brian Pizzicami jump out of line. He's jumping to the back of this pack. I got Campbell and Watson at the front. Let's see if these guys have the drive to catch back up to the front pack. Whether the front pack's just going to run away with it. I've got huge question marks over fuel and whether people can make it or not as the 15 of Ken Campbell jumps out of line. I think he was starting to overheat. That's allowed the 74 of Austin Collins onto the tail of James Watson. You don't want to be leading the pack unless you know you can make it to the end. Because if you're in the lead of the pack, you are going to use more gas than if you're just following along in the pack. If you're leading, you got to be full throttle the whole way around. You can't lift. If you're in the pack, you got to make sure you lift so you don't run over the car in front of you. And the two packs have now combined. See the three lap down cars there. Three other lap down cars. Frank Isaacson has gone to the pits. Not sure why Frank's pitted again. I guess he couldn't make it. And now he is guaranteed to make it. So 5 cars a lap down. 4 of which are in this lead pack. Leader of the lap down cars is Joe Slammer, that white number 9 car. Surprised he's not running a Bill Elliott paint scheme or something. Or even a Casey Kane paint scheme. Hit a double O. Jonas Marquez there, ASPCA on the side of the car. Oh, James Watson. He went for the big side draft there, got a little bit squirrely coming out from it. Rickett and Watson battling it out for the front of the pack. Just up ahead of these guys is Pape and Massier. Two-car tandem not quite working out for them. Plus, they probably don't want a repeat of what happened to Clayton Ward. To come down to 50 laps complete this time. 25 laps to go. We're going to go to our final commercial break of the race. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the NearStar Print Solutions 187 will be coming up very shortly. Welcome back to the NearStar Print Solutions 187 here from Daytona International under lights. And as you can see, it's no longer the bright yellow and green car, yellow, green and pink I should say, leading that outside lane. Austin Collins unceremoniously dumped the 39 out of the lead of that line. You see James has fallen to the back, and now Austin Collins has taken over the lead of the inside lane, which has allowed the 38 of Thomas Harmon to lead the outside lane once more. Right on his tail, he has got the 8-103 of Nate. They also got the lap down car of Corey Cook in the 61 there as well. You see the cars are starting to get a little bit wishy-washy. This is where the mental toughness is going to come in. You've got to make sure you can keep your car on the straight and narrow. Because as soon as you start wavering, the car starts wavering, and that's how you get the big one. Especially if you're at the front of the pack. I think Nate just about caught the fence there coming out of turn 2. Thomas Harmon will now lead the inside lane. Leaves Nate and Cook to lead the outside line. Got the 15 of Campbell there with them. They've lost a lot of momentum, but they're starting to gain it back. Almost contact there actually between the 61 and the 25 as the 25. A little bit wayward on the entry to the corner. It's Jack Sanders. And look at the way that inside line is working. Thomas Harmon with Austin Collins pushing him. Scott Rickett as the third. They've actually pulled a gap over the pack, and they're coming into pit. They can't make it to the end. They're pitting. They've come in with a few other cars as well. But Harmon, Collins, Rickett, Pizzakemi, and Sanders all coming in. This has left Nate in the lead of the race. On his tail is Baylor. Corey Cook, he's leading the outside lane, but he's a lap down. And he's got no help. Campbell, not close enough to really push. Looks like Campbell trying to bail to the inside line so he can get ready to pit. That was probably going to be one of the only chances for Corey Cook to get back on the lead lap. Now, unfortunately, the help behind him just dissipated very quickly. That's Nate leading away from Faylor. And it's a lap down car of Slama. And it's Watson. Now we've got the lap down car of Marquez and McCoy. Corey Cook on the outside line. Still a lap down. They're still looking to try and make up some moves here. Just by side drafting. But they had a Horton in there as well. On Horton's tail is a one of McCannley. Still, they've been locked together since the pit cycle. Coming up on some lap traffic, and Jack Sanders is about to be a part of it. Sanders lost all ground after his pit stop. He's fallen into the clutches of Pape and Massier. Saw Harmon and Rickard change positions. In fact, Rickard dropping like a stone in the pack that he's in. It looks like Clayton Ward has finally called it a night. He's pulled the plug. He's out. McCoy almost got shuffled out of that inside groove. Don't want to leave too much of a gap when Horton's around. Horton will fill that gap. Because if gap, then car. Horton experimenting to see whether he thought the car was wide enough to get in that gap with these left side tyres on the yellow line. You can't pass below the yellow line, but there's no rule against passing on the yellow line. Of course, the distinction of on or under is on the left side tyres. No one else has come in for a second stop though. Only those who came in just before. Looks like Griesbaum is leading that second pack now from McDonald and Pizzakemi. The Harmon's even dropped to the back. One thing about that second pack, though, is they have no restrictions. These guys can race as hard as they want, and look at them go. 74 of Boston Collins now takes control of the pack. Fizikemi will drop in fourth in line. You also have Isaacson, Griesbaum, and McDonald in this line. Isaacson, the only one out of these cars who was a lap down. But Corey Cook in the 61, trying to make a run again on the outside line. See if he can get anyone to go with him, because he wants to get back on the lead lap, and he does have some help. Help coming in the form of the double O, Jonas Marquez. Jonas also a lap down. Let's see if these two can get their laps back. Looking at McCoy. What we're going to focus on is that 61 car. As Cook and Marquez are cooking on the outside here. This is 2 cars versus 9, I think. And Cook pulls down, and he has got his lap back now. But Corey Cook is on the lead lap officially once more. And this is actually going to be beneficial for Nate. They're second in line, because Nate will be able to save fuel behind the Cookie Monster. Oh, there's the 21 of Failor. Got a little bit wayward there on the exit of turn 4. Almost getting into the side of Marquez. We've gone 64.5 laps caution free so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing here from these boys. As Nate pulled out a line there briefly just to get some air on his nose. It looks like, oh, and here they come. Cook, Nate, and Marquez coming in. Being joined by, I think that's the 15 of Campbell. It is. So this puts Thad Failor now in the lead of this race. So the question once again is over the fuel. Do you have enough gas to make it? We've got 9.5 laps left in this race. I tell you what, combination of Pape, Massier and Sanders, they pulled away from this front group as more come into the pits now. We've got Watson, Failor, and I think that was the 9 of Slama coming into the pits. This is the second pack that we're now currently looking at. Harmon leading it from Pizzacami. These guys should be good to the end. And if everyone else still has to pit, these guys are in the box seat. And Horton's taken the lead. So it's Horton, McCannley, McCoy, and with them they had the 4 of Sanchez. Do these guys have what it takes to get to the end? Masia had to pit again. It looks like Pape pitted again as well. Sanders did not. Sanders is in the group. Sanders is in the group with Watson, Faylor, Nate, and Campbell. In theory, Sanders should make it to the end. But can these guys make it to the end now is the big question. The Horton and McAnally did pit together. McCoy pitted 3 laps before these guys, but McCoy has been in the draft the whole time since pitting. And Sanchez, I'm just having a look-see. He pitted at the same time as McCoy. So there is a chance for these guys to make it to the end. I'm not sure what Horton's numbers are looking like because he did pit on the lap after halfway. So he pitted at the start of lap 38. He was in the pack for most of the part up until this point. But as I said, being in the lead means that you're going to use more gas. You got to. It's just a fact of life. You have to have your foot stomped down all the way through the floorboard so you can punch a hole in the air. And that second pack is coming. Pizzacchemi's leading the second pack from Collins and Rickard and Harmon. 5 laps left to go. 4.5 now as they're getting onto the back straight. Can Horton last the rest of the race and break through for a victory? Let's go check in on the second pack. They are pushing hard. As I said, these guys are completely unfettered. They are good to the end, absolutely. No questions about it. Just up the road, they got Jonas Marquez, who's 2 laps down. Big push from the 74 of Collins. Back to the front pack. These guys have separation. There's no pushing going on. If they don't want the others to catch and pass them, they're going to have to get onto each other's tails and push like hell. The gap from Horton to Pizzacchemi is now breached under 10 seconds. So that second pack is coming, and it's coming hard. But Horton, he'll have 2 laps to go when he gets to the start-finish line. Going to keep an eye on this front pack because there's still a question mark over fuel for all 4 of these cars here in the front pack. 2 to go. Who's going to make it? Who's going to cough? Who was going to pit regardless? Big push coming from the one of McAnally. I think the 4 is Sanchez. Ducked out of it. I think Sanchez is out. Sanchez coughed. He's coasting. It's 6 seconds back to the second pack. White flag, last lap. And McCoy's pitted. McCoy can't make it. He's gone to the pits. That puts Pizzakemi into P3. Have a quick look. I don't see James Watson in this pack. Watson was in this pack. I don't see him. Oh, Watson's in the third pack. That's why I didn't see him. Going back to the leaders. As they come out of turn 4 for the final time. Matt Horton in the 8. The 1 of Logan McAnally. McAnally has a win this season. Horton does not, but he's going to change that tonight as Matt Horton comes through with the win over Logan McAnally. Go check out the second pack. And there was 3 wide coming across the line. Pizzakemi holds on to it. What about the third pack? Oh, it was James Watson, but he's run out of gas at the end. Oh no. As there's a little bit of shenanigans going on at the end here. But let's not take away from the performance here from the 8 of Matt Horton. He changed his number just yesterday from the 89 to the 8. And it has brought him good luck. Logan McAnally with enough gas to push him around to the start-finish line. Maybe an attempt to try and save fuel for the burnout. Frank Isaacson up here as well. There it is officially. Horton, McAnally, Pizzakemi, Rickard, Harmon, Collins, Griesbaum, Campbell, Nate, Faylor. That's your top 10. It's Sanders, Watson, McCoy, McDonald, Isaacson, Cook, Slummer, Pape, Sanchez, and Marquez down to 20th. And we wrap up with Massey Ward, who DNF'd, and Chris Champo, who was a DNS. And there is enough gas for the burnout. Good stuff. But that is going to wrap things up for us here tonight. I do believe our hard charger is Andrew Griesbaum, finishing in P7. Started 9th, finished 7th. But that is all from the NearStar Print Solutions 187 here from Daytona International Speedway. Join us next week when we go to Darlington for the Lady on Crack. Until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys next week.